Hey, Katie.
Katie.
I feel like our microphones are always so different.
Yours, like, you look like a true, like, in-studio podcaster because yours, like, comes from the top and, like, hangs in front of your face.
I think that I just have mine, like, screwed so tight. Like, yours, like, moves around where mine's always just, like, straight down.
And mine, like, comes at to me from, like, an angle.
I feel like it's NPR. Like, I should be like, hello, and, like, welcome to the 5 o'clock hour.
Okay.
ASMR with Lisa Spada. Olini. If I had my book, I would be, like, flipping the pages, like, really
smooth. I mean, there's a book behind you. You can grab any one of those.
I mean, for your listening pleasure. No. Anyway.
Anywho,
we're here to talk about A Curse of Dark and Lonely. But before we get into that, I wanted to discuss our
Defy the Night.
The Royals and Rebels event with the author of A Curse of Dark and Lonely, also of the Defy the Night series, Brigid, Kemmerer. I know I'm not gonna add the extra ers to the end, but like it's for a name that's like so easy to like spell.
I have to think about saying her name and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say it wrong.
Like Brigid Kemmerer makes more sense in my head, but the Kemmerer.
Yeah. And I just want to keep going with the ers.
Yeah. No, but the event was great.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. It was a very intimate event, and I think we both agreed that we really enjoyed that. Not that there's anything wrong with a big event, but it's nice when you get to like talk to other influencers, talk to the author, really hear like the questionnaire being done. I don't know. I felt like so in tune with it.
Yeah.
Even when she was so kind enough to read the excerpts from
Destroy the Day.
Thank you.
We were like, Defy the Night, Defend the Dawn, Destroy the Day.
Yes.
Book 3 coming out January 2024. Actually a week before Crescent City 3.
No. But
it's kind of excited for that. It's a big week for Bloom.
It's a very big week for Bloom.
Well, Bloomsbury, sorry. Bloom is the
they need a drink afterwards.
Bloomsbury, they're gonna need
some relaxation, some R&R, if you will.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really nice. The place was awesome. We got to chat with a bunch of different people, even people from Bloomsbury, I think was awesome. We got to talk to Brigid and just kind of fangirl very hard. We also almost got robbed on the way in. So we had to tell everybody in sight. We were a smidge late because of said incident.
Because it said attempted robbery. We were the victims of an attempted robbery with our friend Mary. And
we basically sat in interrogation rooms the next day.
I said it. How many times have I said this? I've made the same joke, but you guys haven't heard it yet. But I said we are too dumb to be robbed because we did not know that we were being robbed.
But he was also a dumb robber.
Honestly, as far as robbers go, like
we got lucky. We got lucky that the dumbest came to us.
Really bad at his job.
He could have snatched your bag or Mary's
easily. You guys, I'm going to just set the scene real quick and then tell you how I would have gone about robbing me. Okay? So I'm not going to go into extreme detail. I'm not going to bore you. Setting the scene, Mary and Katie are sitting down.
We're in the waiting area in the train station.
Yeah.
Inside.
I'm standing with my back towards the attempted robber. And we're just chit-chatting away like little gals do when they're all together.
Yep.
And all of a sudden this man comes from behind and he's basically yelling at us to give him our things. We were like, what? Like, do you need like fare? What? Like, we really didn't know what was happening. And then we were like, oh, he's trying to rob us. We assessed. Katie and I did not see weapons, so we ran away.
We both like can like look at each other with our eyes. And I honestly feel like we said a sentence with our eyeballs. It was like, we need to get the fuck out of here right now.
Yeah. And
I grabbed Mary and we ran.
Yeah. Mary was like,
pardon?
Yeah. Honestly, Mary, because I know you're listening.
You're an angel.
We ran. We got away. We called 911. Long story short, we got him arrested. Katie and I had to go talk the next day to the detectives and give statements, and there's like an ongoing investigation because this man is like not a good person apparently. But like if I were him, right, all he could have done, he should just come up right behind me, grab me, been like to all three of us, give me all your bags and your jewelry. First of all, he asked for our bags. Katie and I are like wearing like our like engagement rings, our wedding bands.
Yeah,
we all have like nicer jewelry on. We're going to like a nicer event. And he's asking for our bags, which like maybe 15 years ago when like people like carried cash, great. If he would have grabbed my bag.
Or mine, or Mary's, I think.
No, yeah, like any of ours. But like all I had in mind was my ID. I had one credit card, which I would have canceled immediately. 5 tampons and lip gloss.
Yeah.
And my bag was like a $10, like just like black Amazon, but like
my bag was free for my sister as like a last minute sample from years ago.
Yeah.
I think I had $5 in cash, an iPhone charger, like the remote
like,
charger.
Basically none of
and
us
a debit card and an ID.
Like Mary literally had like the same thing and like nail polish. Like none of us had anything in our bags that were worth anything. Like he maybe would have got away with like $20 collective and like a bunch of tampons, which are very useful for a man. But like didn't ask for a jewelry. So right there, didn't even ask for a jewelry. So like stupid. Second, like he's just like screaming at us to give him his stuff. Like I was like, he should just grab me, been like, girls, like I got your friend, give me your things. We would have been like, here's everything we got.
If he wanted to do that, he could have just ripped because your bag was.
Oh yeah, my bag was like not even. Yeah,
and
it was
Mary's
just like barely
sitting on
hanging.
Her lap. So in reality, if he didn't want to go for two, he could have just grabbed yours or grabbed Mary's and ran. And we all would have been sitting there going, okay.
And so we get away from him, and we're like, I'm looking at the girls, and I'm like, I'm not missing this event. I was like, I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, all right, we have like 7 minutes until the train comes. Like, we're going back up there. We see him come down, so we're like, he's leaving.
Yes,
no. And we had called the cops, and like, there's always cops like near the train.
They were
station.
literally there within like maybe a minute.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, he came down, so like, we can go back up to the platform. So now we're standing on the platform waiting for our train, talking to the cops, whatever. We see him on the other side of the platform. We point him out. That's how they arrested him. But he like stayed at the train station, just like was like, oh, I
missed out
on this platform. Let me check the other one. So again, just really, really bad at his job. Like if I was head robber and he worked under me, he would not be getting a year-end bonus.
Definitely not. He sucked.
No,
but I mean, honestly,
great for us.
Great for us. Literally great for us. But I mean, quite the experience being in an interrogation room with like the two-way window mirrors on both sides, recordings, video,
audio recording. I had to like you have to like state your name, like that whole thing. Do you swear to tell the whole truth? I was like, another thing, and we'll talk about the book eventually, I promise. But like Katie and we're not allowed to be in the same room together, be questioned together. Obviously, it's an ongoing investigation. But on the way home, we're obviously talking about like what we said. First of all, the detective said that we did a great job. In the situation and in our interviews, because like they're like, no, like your stories were the exact same, not in a bad way, but in like this is clearly what happened. And they said that we handled the situation like perfectly, like that's how they would tell somebody to handle the situation.
So obviously we walked out of there fucking elated.
Yeah, we were like, we're so good at like almost robbed, like we're heroes, like NJ Transit heroes are gonna put our picture in like all the stations.
Kidding, obviously.
But we're like talking about like our testimonies or whatever.
Oh
and
my
Katie
God.
and I are dying because Katie like is a true crime junkie and she like watches these shows. And she's like very like matter of fact.
Like you're asking a question, I'm spitting out the exact answer to your question, and there's no fluff.
Where's Teresa? I am like telling a story. I'm painting a picture. I'm making jokes. I'm, like,
she was in there for so
I'm
long.
trying to get them to crack smiles. I had my one detective. I had Edward. He was loving it. He's like, this girl is a comedian. Detective Brian. I'm calling them by their first names. It's not how they introduce themselves to us. Like
we're not gonna tell you their names either.
No. I was like, I'm not gonna give last names. But Edward and Brian, I honestly think that they probably miss me. They were like, you know what?
100%. Yeah.
That girl
who told the story twice to us.
Oh yeah, no. Afterwards, they're like, do you have anything else to add? And I just retold them the whole story. And I was like, I already told you all that information, but just in case.
Wait, can you please tell them the part about when they both asked us this question, and it was, how did this make you feel? My response was, I quote, in that moment, I literally was like, what the fuck is this actually fucking happening to us? And I was like, excuse me for cursing. But like, that's exactly the thought that went through my mind.
Yes.
This is Teresa's.
So I was, okay, first of all, I was actually really scared. It was a scary situation.
After the fact, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, while it was happening, I was like, I don't know what's happening. But then when we realized we ran, like my heart was racing.
Yes.
But I also like...
We still like assessed the situation. We're able to convey to the 911 where we were, what was going on.
Honestly, I think if you would have saw us, you would have not known anything happened.
No, we just...
And we were also like afterwards, like giggling. Like we were like, that was what just happened.
Well, I think we made a little bit of a stink on the stairwell because you had not screamed, I said that incorrectly. You had said loudly to me, because I was in front of Mary and you were behind Mary, we should call 911. And I was like, I already am on the phone with them. Yeah. So I think people started to notice that, like something was happening.
Yeah.
Because even when we got downstairs and you're like, hey, I think we should stay by this window, the ticket window, people kind of started to like stick around us to be like, are you girls okay?
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Yeah, we had a very nice man who stayed with us.
Yeah. I think there was a few.
There was a few, people. But the man that came upstairs, he didn't really know what was happening, but he knew that we were like visibly shaken up. So he like stayed with us, and then we went back up, whatever. And then he heard us when the cops got there telling the cops the story. And he's like, that's what happened to you girls. I would have fucked that guy right up if I saw him. I was like, thank you, nice sir.
Thank you, sir.
Also, like, this train station, like, isn't unsafe. I literally go to the Devils games all the time from this train station. Like, it was just, I think, like, a really, like, freak incident.
Personally, I think it was because we were dressed up, kind of looking nice inside by ourselves.
Yeah, there was nobody. It was just us and this guy. There was literally nobody else.
Like, I mean, honestly, he probably looked around and was like, this might actually be a good situation. And maybe because the way we were dressed, he assumed we had more on us.
Yeah.
But little does he know that we're 3 broke bitches.
Also, my entire outfit, minus the shoes, which are Steve Madden, they were like $90. Literally, like, Marshall shorts, $12. Amazon bodysuit, $20.
Yeah. Mine was Amazon and Target. Amazon bodysuit, Target pants.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, if we look so cute, like, check out the Instagram. So
Teresa, the way she responds that one question.
I was so scared. Like, I was like, my heart was racing. I was like, Katie's watch said that her heart rates per minute, like 188 like beats per minute. I was like, we were really shaken up.
I was peeing my pants when she told me this.
We were like screaming in the car because I was like, yeah, I told them that your heart rate, like, I was like, I really wanted to sell like that. Like, we were really shook up from this. Katie's like,
I would have killed to see their faces.
They were like laughing. And then they were like, explain like what happened, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I was like, and then we watched them apprehend like the criminal on the other side of the tracks.
She's fucking storytelling over here. Giving them a little treat.
Like, yeah, apprehended him. We watched them apprehend him. Like, not arrested. Like, we watched them apprehend him. Like, who am I?
I just cracked up because, like, literally I was sitting on the couch and I'm like, she's been in there for like fucking like 20
Yeah, like Katie came out and like I was like, oh, that was so quick. I was literally in there forever. I was like literally about to make them like a sandwich. Like, I was like, girls, settle in. I have a story for you.
I feel like they definitely walked us out. Probably chuckled, and then we're probably like, that was a breath of fresh air.
I honestly hope that first of all, we had to go. Okay, so we had to go to Newark. And they like didn't really tell us where to meet them. So we like go into the train station. So now we're being directed by like all these like transit police. Like, first we see one, he brings us. Then like another transit cop. And everybody was like, oh, you're the girls from Rahway. You're the girls from Rahway. You're the girls from Rahway. We're like, yeah, that's us. Like, I'm like, local celebs.
No big deal or anything. Do you want an autograph? I've been practicing.
I've started practicing my autograph a lot. I mean, it's only a matter of time before the court calls us and asks us
100%.
To come down so they can give us medals.
I love how we're laughing with this. Like, my husband was in pure, like, what the
I look at Katie and I'm like, you better not tell Tom till we're on that train. Like, husband would have like, he's gonna come here and he's gonna pick us up. He's not gonna let us go. I'm like,
no, he would have let us go, but he would have driven him. Like, he would have driven us himself. Like, he'd be like, no, girls, you're not getting on the train. Your safety's everything. Get in the car. I'll drive you.
I just like text my husband nonchalant. I'm like, hey, I almost got robbed on the train. Talk to you later. And he called me. He's like, what? Are you okay?
Did he touch you? Swivel tea.
Yeah,
that's what she got told.
Yeah.
Oh, so good time. So we made it to the event. It was fucking awesome.
The event was amazing, as we were saying. Brigid was like
the kindest soul,
an amazing human. I don't want to like compare or like come across like I'm talking down about the event that we went to on Saturday.
Gosh, no.
But
two totally different
events. So we went to the Ripped Bodice for a like question answer type of event with JLA, Jennifer L. Armentrout, from Blood and Ash author. And like that was like very like there were two like very distinctively like different events. Yeah. So like not even the fact that we were invited by Bloomsbury to the Brigid event versus like we like bought tickets obviously. Yeah. But I loved what I was trying to get at was like I loved how intimate the Bloomsbury event was with Brigid because I think there was maybe only 20 people there like total. Not including people who worked for Bloomsbury who were obviously also there. But it kind of gave us like we got to like have like one-on-one interaction with Brigid, and I feel like we got to like really got to talk to a lot of people and like meet a lot of new people, which was great. And I really did like the JLA event, but it was just so different because we didn't like we got signed books, but they were signed ahead of time. We didn't get to like really like talk to or meet JLA.
She was really nice. Like even on the way out though, like she was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that you guys were standing in the back. Like thank you so much. She was so kind.
No, literally so kind. And like Maggie from Maggie Maybe Reading was interviewing, did an amazing job. Like the interview was very like
well thought out. Like great questions.
And like JLA is like she just kind of like rambles and can talk. Like,
but I love that.
No, I loved it for her. And then there was like a Q&A. Like they passed the microphone around the audience if anybody else had questions. Just very different events, both very cool. But
It was cool to experience both
The
ends.
Royals and Rebels event was just...
It was really cool.
It was so cool.
I mean, and like even, but because again, there was a Q&A component where there was Alex Asher asking, and she's the author of Lightlark. She was asking Brigid a bunch of questions. And I think that was kind of cool because Alex is also an author, obviously.
Yeah, so she had like a lot of insight into like the process. So her questions were like things that I would never think to ask.
Same. I really liked them. Like I thought they were just like, again, completely two different Q&As, and I liked both equally for the different variations of them. But I thought it was cool because again, we are not writers. We are readers only. So it was kind of cool just to hear like that end and like those kind of questions. And I will say like one question I would like to know from Brigid, like this is YA.
Yes.
But this story in particular has a true villain, and not just like a villain that's just off page, like you know their name, you know what has been done by like other accounts. Like not that you get Lilith's POV, but you hear from her mouth like what she's doing or has done.
Yes.
And I'd love to know like what kind of and again, it's YA, so we're not talking like deep, like dark, but what's the mindset you have to get into? What kind of like setting do you have to be in to write that?
I was really impressed. We're talking Curse of Dark and Lonely now.
If you didn't get that. Yeah. Because we segue like crazy psychos.
We always know what we're talking about, but I'm like, nobody else is following this path right now. It was very dark.
I would definitely classify it as like an upper YA.
Like, you know what? Like, let's get into it, and we'll talk about Lilith in a second. I'm not even going to try to explain it because I will ramble for 15 minutes. I'm going to read the synopsis.
That's a great idea.
Because I know you guys...
I know you would do a phenomenal job.
I would do a phenomenal job. I'm just going to read it because honestly, you know who did a better job with the synopsis?
Brigid.
Fall in love, break the curse. And one seems so easy to Prince Ren, the heir to Emberfall. Cursed by the powerful enchantress, Lilith, to repeat the autumn of his 18th year over and over, he knew he could be saved if a girl fell in love with him. By the way, this is obviously a Beauty and the Beast retelling. But that was before he learned that at the end of each autumn, he would turn into a vicious beast hell-bent on destruction. That was before he destroyed his castle, his family, and every last shred of hope. Nothing has ever been easy for Harper. With her father long gone, her mother dying, and her brother barely holding their family together while constantly underestimating her because of her cerebral palsy, she learned to be tough enough to survive. But when she tries to save someone else on the streets of Washington, D.C., she's instead somehow sucked into Ren's cursed world. So these worlds are... Think of it... No, because that's a spoiler. These worlds exist
at
the same time, but in different realms. Almost like if you've read The Cruel Prince, how like Elfhame is like just basically like on top of like the
That's
regular
what I was about
world.
to just say, like it's just on top of the other.
Yeah. Break the curse, save the kingdom. A prince, a monster, a curse. Harper doesn't know where she is or what to believe, but as she spends time with Ren in his enchanted land, she begins to understand what's at stake. And as Ren realizes Harper is not just another girl to charm, his hope comes flooding back. Powerful forces are standing against Emberfall, and it'll take more than a broken curse to save Harper, Ren, and his people.
So think Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast retelling. Anyway, the villain is like a true
villain.
Yes.
But like, and again, because and
you understand, like, not that we agree with her motives, because there are some villains. Daughter of No Worlds trilogy. The villains in that trilogy, you understand their motives, and you can also not like you get their motives. Like I understood where a lot of like the villains were coming from in a way. They just like took it to an extreme. I didn't understand why Lilith was like so hell bent on Ren's ruin, but I like that we got an explanation.
Agreed.
And it wasn't like, I mean, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie of all time.
It should be on everyone's top 3.
Yes. And the Enchantress, like, when she just gets mad because, like, he's vain.
Yes.
And, like, I'm sorry, if an old, like, decrepit lady came to my house and said, it's raining, like, can I come in? I'd say, probably not, lady. So, like, the Beast was really vain. I understand. In this case, she, like, seduces Ren. He's an 18-year-old boy.
Yeah.
We find out she bribes Gray. Gray is, like, the commander of, like, the King's Guard. She bribes Gray to like let her into like Ren's rooms, seduces him. She wants to have him fall in love with her so that she could be queen. And then when they bone, and then he's like, okay, see you later, lady.
Yeah, like I'm done.
She puts this curse on him, and the curse is like horrific. Like when he turns into a beast, he has like no recollection of who he is. He just like turns into a beast, murders like indiscriminately, and then wakes up covered in blood and has no idea what he's done.
When you find out what he's done,
he slaughters his whole family. Basically kills all of like the King's Guard.
Yep.
So he basically, him and Grey like sequester themselves to the castle, and Grey every time like he turns into, and the beast changes every time.
Yeah, it's never like the same beast.
So Grey has started like leaving a trail of like blood like away from the village, because Ren, when he wakes up and he like knows like, you know, he finds out what's happened, he's obviously sick. He tried to kill himself like because he doesn't want to, you know, do this to his people. But the curse brings him back to life every time.
So like that's dark.
No, it's
like,
really
and then
dark.
Again, to like write all that and to like I would love to know like what mind space she has to get into. Like where do you have to go? What do you have to do to kind of like come up and put on page like these things?
Right.
Because it's gotta be kind of hard to write.
Yeah. And like Ren is like such like a nice, he really is like a light, like just like a very like nice boy. He cares so much about his kingdom. And yeah, he's an 18-year-old too at the same time. So like at first he's like just trying to like charm these girls, and then he's like kind of giving up hope. I think they say that it's been like 300.
Yeah, it's like a crazy amount of time.
Time in the in like the town or in like the kingdom moves really slow, but time at like the palace is like stuck in fall.
Yes, it has not moved past fall.
No. So every like 3 months, like so he has like an entire season, so he has 3 months. And once it gets to the end, he turns into a beast, he kills people, and then it restarts. It doesn't reset for the townspeople. Time just moves a lot slower for the townspeople. So for them, it's been 5 years. For him, it's been 300 seasons.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I don't know. Do the math, okay? It's been more than 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like Harper.
Yeah.
Like, so Grey gets like he's the only one that's allowed to float between that realm and Washington, DC.
And our realm.
And our realm. So like he goes
and it's only 1 day a year.
Yes.
At first.
And he picks a girl like at random to hopefully bring back and break the curse with. So like they're stuck obviously in this. And
he always tries to find a girl, because again, we love Grey. So he always tries to find a girl that doesn't have family or like
she won't be missed.
Yes.
Like she can go unnoticed.
And to our understanding and to their understanding, after the 3 months, if the curse isn't broken, the girl goes back.
Yep.
And like no harm, no foul.
From our understanding.
But
the one time that Grey is trying to take said girl, Harper gets in the way.
Harper thinks that he is trying to like date rape a girl.
Essentially.
And she goes to, Harper's like a badass.
Harper is.
Like she doesn't let her cerebral palsy like stand in her way. She has obviously like a limp and but she doesn't like let that dictate. We had this conversation when we talked about Out on a Limb.
Mm-hmm.
How like just because they like the characters have a disability or like a physical like setback, it doesn't stop them from being strong or being brave. And it's other people maybe like in their lives or in like especially in this story, like Lilith like is like, oh, that girl like she's like a cripple. She's not going to be the girl to break the curse. Like she underestimates her
100%.
Like
every step of the way.
And Harper is like, yeah, I see that. Like I see you underestimating me, and I'm going to prove you fucking wrong.
Yeah, like she takes advantage of those situations instead of like putting herself down, which I would understand if you kind of put yourself down. Cause it's like, geez, like wow, thanks for thinking so little of me. But like, she rises up to it.
Yeah,
she takes said bait and goes.
She does, and like she is so strong. She's so stubborn. At times I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kick her in the head. Like, stop being so stubborn. Because she's so like, Grey's the one who abducts her. Like, Grey's kind of a dick to her at first, but she like accepts Grey so much quicker than she accepts Ren.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
No, and
Ren's ever done
Ren
has been
was
like
always so kind to her.
Yeah.
And I get it too, because like she found herself like kind of falling for him, and she's like, I don't want to be some girl who's like Stockholm syndrome, who's just gonna like fall for my captor. Yeah, she does.
I do love the part though when like she does try to escape on horseback. Mind you, it's Ren's horse, and they do catch up with her, and she's like basically like in his face. Like I wouldn't call it freaking out, but kind of like screaming at him, like, don't treat me different, blah, 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 blah. So he's like, oh, cool, you don't want me to treat you different? Great, I'm going to put you in prison. Like, sending you to the dungeons, bitch. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, put her in her place, motherfucker. And she's like, wait, what? And he's like, you want me to treat you like this? You got it. Like, I won't treat you like to where you get a room in my castle. You get to roam
He's like,
free.
I'll treat you as if you're like treason.
Yeah, because that's just like, you're holding me prisoner. He goes like, oh, you want to be held prisoner? I'll show you how to hold a prisoner. To the dungeons you go. So I love like that little moment.
And then she's like, no, thank you. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, sure. I do love like the little like moments when they went to like the cottage, or the inn, I guess you could say, where she meets like that other family, and they allow like, I did think it was kind of like they make up that she's like the princess of DC just because they have to explain who she is, and like they do try to start rallying people behind them because everyone's like, yeah, we haven't seen any of the royal family, like
they don't know that the royal family's dead. They think that the royal family just like abandoned them because of this like beast that's been like killing everybody.
So people don't have nice things to say about the royal family.
No. So even like Ren's like, I can't tell them that everybody's dead because that's the thing too. There is a rival nation in the northern mountains that is like trying to come take Emberfall.
Fall?
Yeah.
Yes, my bad. I know.
Larent.
No, that was Catalyst.
No, I have it. Sorry. Oh,
we tried to go over the names before. You'd think that we would remember.
Lilith. No.
I listened to this on audio.
Karis Lauren.
Karis
Lauren is the queen in the north, and she's trying to take Emberfall. She realizes that the royal family is dead. And she also knows that there is another heir. So Ren's father, apparently the king was like kind of like fucking sucked, like always having affairs, whatever. But apparently, okay, so Lilith is an enchantress, like a mage, I think is technically what she is. And there was, I guess, like a kingdom of mages that were like, but people with magic. And again, too, there's always books where like they get thrown a glass. The king, he like banishes magic, whatever, gets rid of magic. But it's like because like he's afraid of it because he doesn't have the power. Where in like this case, like they were like the mages are like evil.
Yes, they are completely evil.
So Ren's grandfather goes to kill all the mages. Apparently, if you kill a mage, their power passes on to another mage. So they thought that they killed them all, but there happened to be like one or two like left. Anyway, the reason why he wants to kill them all is because one of the mages tries to seduce Ren's father, who at the time was just a prince, and like there's a whole thing, whatever. But apparently a child came of that union that we did not know of.
So there is another heir, not just Ren.
Right. And at the end you kind of find out who that is.
Yeah.
That means that they're brothers. But like that book makes me sad too because like Ren, like they're friends. I really loved Gray.
I loved Gray so much, and I think in the end, I liked the way he sacrificed himself for everyone, basically. Like, he was under no oath. He was released from his oath. So he's not duty bound to Ren anymore or to Harper. And, like, he still sticks around. He still fights.
Yeah.
You also find out, like, he could have at any point, like, turned his family in against the sorceress to, like, help Ren out. And he opted to have his family all murdered.
Yeah.
Which is so sad. Like, what a rock and a hard place to be between.
Yeah. Also, like, he's kind of, like, in love with Harper.
I don't think
it's, like, in love, but, like...
I think it's, like, an infatuation with who she is and, like, how strong she is. Yeah. Like, I think it's almost, like, admiration like turning into more of, like, a... When
Ren sends her away, he, like... Okay, so Lilith... Like, this is what bothered me about Harper. Where, like, Gray and Ren are telling her, like, Lilith, you cannot trust her.
Yes.
And she's like, and she's like, I really just need to talk to her. Like, I need her to send me home. And they're like, you don't understand. Like, like, even if she agrees to it, it's like with
a stipulation.
And like, not like a good stipulation. Not like, oh, like, you have to give me $20 and I'll send you home. Like, with like, okay, yeah, I'll send you home. But like, then I'm also going to like murder
come collect on something. Yeah.
Right.
And you won't know when.
No. And she doesn't believe it. And then it isn't until she sees the things that she's doing to Ren and to Gray, and then eventually to her, like torture, horrible torture, that she's like, oh yeah, no, definitely like not great. And then we have to endure kind of Lilith like torturing Ren consistently. But Lilith eventually gives Gray the ability. So in the beginning, he's only allowed 1 day a year to go into our realm and pick a girl, bring her back, and 24 hours, that's all he gets. Lilith is here, now you can go back and forth whenever you want.
Godspeed.
Because she wants basically to see that Harper will betray Ren or whatever. But Ren is no, take her. You have to get her out of here.
Yeah.
Because she'll die. I'm turning into a beast again. I don't want.
She's gonna die.
Ren is in love with her, and he's I don't want anything to happen.
Just the beast lets Belle go.
Yes. And Harper just needs to see her mom who's dying. She gets there just in time. She needs help her brother. And then, but she tells Greg, she's be back here in 24 hours. I need to be here, but I need to go back. She's I can't. She isn't a princess of a real nation there, but she's these are my people.
Yeah, she's I miss being there already, and I'm home. For
she's
2 seconds.
Yeah, that's home to me. Yeah. It's Emberfall, whatever. But then by the time she gets back,
all hell is breaking loose.
Yeah, yeah, because Gray does not come back for her right away. Ren tries to sacrifice himself to kill Lilith as he's turning, but he becomes a beast, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They go back to Emberfall finally after Ren basically almost slaughters Gray in his beast form. So he's unaware of it. But I was just waiting. I was if he sees Harper, she's gonna be able to talk the beast down.
Yeah. And she can.
And she can. But a part of me is upset because they keep saying they don't know if. So Gray, at the end, he sacrifices himself and takes Lilith to
wherever
DC,
he can technically kill her.
Basically, to kill her. So we don't know if Gray kills Lilith and that breaks the curse, or
did Harper break the curse?
Is Harper actually in love with Ren?
Yeah, you don't get an answer.
No, you don't get that answer.
No, you physically do not.
She never says I love you to him.
No. She's even confused. She's did I do it? Who did?
Yeah, she would. Yeah, right. She's I really care for him, but do I love him?
Yeah, which I don't know what to believe. A part of me thinks it's Gray, but then I'm also but maybe in her deep conscious of her mind, or subconscious, I should say, maybe she does love him.
Yeah,
because she came back for him, and maybe that broke the curse.
Yeah. And his soul recognized her.
Yeah.
He's never been aware of anything in his beast form, but his form knew who she was.
Yeah. So
and they were able to use him to slaughter their Karis Lawrence.
So I'm really 50-50 right now. I don't know about you.
I mean, I assume that they end up together at the end of the trilogy. But I feel it's almost a Gray. So then at the end, Gray wakes up and he's with his mother, who's not his mother. It's an adoptive mother.
Yes.
We find out that he is the heir.
What a cliffy.
I know. And he is older than Ren by 2 years. So he's technically firstborn. He's the rightful heir. He doesn't want it though. He's you better not tell anybody you've seen me. You better not tell anybody I'm here. So now I'm I really need to just read the next book.
The audio was phenomenal. If you are an audiobook lover, I thought it was very well paced and very well done in terms of wait, let's talk about the beast chapters, because you get 3.
Oh yeah, he's just
but wait, on the audio it's
oh no. No.
I'm not getting you. I was running and laughing at the same time. I don't mean to laugh because he did a phenomenal job with it.
But it's just funny.
But I was oh my god.
Yeah, the beast chapter, there's only 3 of them.
He's breathing in one,
yeah, no, and it's literally it'll just be chapter 32, and it'll just be beast, and then it'll be Harper. Because again, it's still POV, so you get a Harper chapter, then a Ren chapter. Harper, Ren.
Yeah.
When he turns into the beast, at the end, you get beast, but it's he's a beast, so he only has one thought, and it's her. I can't believe it.
I was this is amazing.
I'm gonna make you play for me after we're done, because honestly, I need to hear that.
It's literally, and I quote,
honestly, are you sure?
Am I the beast? Hire me. I'll redo these. I don't believe it's on Scribd. I believe it's just on Audible, FYI. So, but I would recommend giving a listen. I will probably continue with the series on Audible. But I think overall, so I read Forging Silver Forging
Silver into Stars.
Thank you. I read that before this, not knowing this was a spinoff, and honestly, I just don't think it matters which way you read it. I would assume probably read A Curse of Dark and Lonely first, then go into that book. But like, I thought that book was good. Brigid, and this is an Alex Asher question, and I thought this was a very good question. Like, what do you put in your writing, or what do you do that gets you turning these pages? Because even with the my favorite series so far is the Defy the Night series, hands down my favorite.
Yeah, if you guys haven't read it,
you really need to.
Like, it's so fucking good. And when she read we got 3 excerpts from
phenomenal
Destroy the Day, and like the first one was Tessa, and it was like, it almost broke my heart.
I know.
Okay,
it hurt a little bit, but like there's like Alex's question was like, what do you put in your writing that makes readers just turn the page nonstop? Because there is something with her writing where you can't stop once you start the book. Like, you really want to turn the page. And I know it's a lot for a lot of authors as well, but there's never a lull. There's never a moment where like, oh, that's kind of getting slow and boring. Like, it's very well paced throughout it, and you always want to keep going.
Yes. And the chapters like aren't long where you're like getting like fatigue from it.
Yeah. Like, there's something about it, but like Brigid's response was like, I guess something, and again, I'm just rephrasing, and this could be very off the mark. Teresa, put me in my place if I'm wrong. But like, she was like, someone told Brigid when she first started writing that you have to almost put something at the beginning and the end of the chapter to captivate the reader. And at the end of the book, like whether it be the cliffhanger, like a big surprise, something that like baits readers to continue. So like, I think it's like very fascinating that at the beginning and end of each chapter, there is something that she writes that alludes to like, you need to continue on. That's gotta be hard to do.
Yeah.
Because you can't end every chapter on a surprise, especially when they're short chapters. Like, it just doesn't work like that.
But
like,
you need to have like enough for people to want to keep reading like the next chapter.
Yeah.
And she does that.
She does it very
phenomenally.
well.
I feel like Defy the Night. So I've only read 3 of her books so far: Defy the Night, Defend the Dawn, and now A Curse of Dark and Lonely. And I think each of them I've read within like 24 to 36 hours.
They're really
like
same.
Yeah.
Besides, well, I listened to this. This was a little bit different. But like, even Forging Silver, blah, 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 like that, I like blew through that book.
Yeah. No, I know you've been talking about it for a while. And I've been talking about Curse of Dark and Lonely for a while. I'm like, I want to read it. It's like, I love her writing, and I love Beauty and the Beast. Like, I have to read this. And like, it's really paining me because you know that I love to just like start a series and like binge it. And I just don't have time right now with like other arcs and like other things I have going on. So I'm like,
when do I get to continue?
Well, because a lot of things are coming out in October, as everybody knows. I need to do Barnes & Noble haul.
Okay, we can go.
Okay. Because I need to get the other 2 books down in the series.
You do.
Because I really do want to finish it. I really, really like it. I have heard that the first book is the best.
Okay.
But like, you know what? I'm not taking other people's opinions.
Yeah, I gave this like a solid 4 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 5, and I only because like I like love her writing and I binged it. Yes. Some books I give 4 that deserve 5, but like that's why I'm always like, if I'm like not in the mood to read something and I force myself, like I'm not going to give it.
It's not like an accurate rating.
Right. But I don't know. I just like, I picked it up and I couldn't stop, and I was like having a good time. So for me, it was 5.
Yeah. I mean, I still think 4 stars is good. So like, solid 4-star book.
Oh, yeah, no, 4 stars is still great.
5 to T. Like, I personally think it's worth the rec if you are especially with like the fall. I think a lot of people go into like a fantasy mode in the fall. Yeah. And I think this is like a nice blend of not YA, so it feels like corny, kiddish, but a good upper YA, darker.
Honestly, the only reason this isn't YA is because,
and again, younger in age, and there's no spice.
Right. I was gonna say it's the age thing mostly. I feel like because it reads like a more adult. Like, I feel like it's more mature.
Okay.
There's more like adult themes in it. It's definitely darker. Like, check trigger warnings. I don't like the whole like torture. There's just like a lot. I feel
attempting
like
suicide. Like, there's some things in there. Yeah.
There's like a lot. And I feel like only because of them being like 18 is why it's YA. Like, I feel like if you put them in their 20s, even if you keep the spice out of it, then it would be like an adult.
It would work the same way.
Right. So like, it's definitely like, if you're like not into spice, or if you don't care about that in a fantasy series, I would definitely recommend this then because there's a really good plot and really good story and like really complex, like flawed characters.
Yes.
Where they're like not even morally gray. Like a lot of, besides Harper, like Gray has to do like bad things. Ren like has to do bad things. He does do like the only, I feel like, character who like, and like she's stubborn, that kind of flawed, but like that doesn't have like blood on her hands really is Harper.
Yeah, everyone else does.
Yeah,
you're right. Anything this woman writes, you should pick up. I mean, big push for Defy the Night. I thought it was, especially that was crack to me.
Like, okay, I am waiting with like bated breath for A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber to come out this month, October. And I know people love that series.
It's such a fucking good
series. And again, 5 stars to both of them.
That is a 5-star
like,
series.
Literally, it's so fucking good. But I feel like so many people talk about that series, but like nobody really talks about the Defy the Night series. And I feel like
it needs to
just as on that same level.
Agreed.
Completely different stories. I'm not comparing them, but I'm just thinking like 2 like YA trilogies that are coming to an end.
Yeah.
Like soon, within the next few months.
That's a good Instagram post for us to do.
Yeah.
Like us holding our series. You only have the other series. I don't own them.
Yeah.
I really do want to because they're so fucking pretty.
I know.
But maybe we'll do like a nice post for them.
We should. But like, if you've read the Stephanie Garber, again, Defy the Night is very different. But they're both like amazing YA trilogies coming to an end.
You need
amazing writing, amazing world building, amazing character.
Even Caravel, like if you liked Caravel, and again, not to compare, but like if you liked Caravel, I can't see why you wouldn't like Defy the Night.
Right, like
or even like a Curse of Dark Lonely.
They're so different, but they're like on like that same like
spectrum of like just great plot writing, like
just 5-star YA, like amazing fantasy stories.
Yes. Yeah, we did that. They deserve posts.
They do.
I'll have to do my hair one day.
Not today.
Not today.
It's been raining since Friday.
Literally, seasonal depression's already hit.
Not Katie being like, "Oh, I love the fall. I do love this.
I do love a doom and gloom day. Don't get me wrong. Don't anyone tell you otherwise. But 4 back-to-back doom and gloom.
I did love Sunday doom and gloom. Gil went out.
Then you just like cuddle on the couch and do nothing.
I did nothing. Oh no. I started. Okay, so I read the first 2 novellas in Assassin's Blade, and I like wasn't in the mood for it because I was like, do I start the 3rd one? And I was like, honestly, like I'm just like not in the mood for this right now. So I've been wanting. I mean, I've talked about the Game Changer series by Rachel Reed. So Heated Rivalry and The Long Game, MM Hockey Romances, but they're the 6-book series. They're Heated Rivalry and The Long Game follow one couple, but every other book in that series follows a different couple.
That's cool.
Yes. So they're interconnected standalones, but like Heated Rivalry just like got a 2nd book, which they deserved it. But I was like, I've been wanting to like read this whole series. So I just like picked up the first book in the series. And I don't know why I'm like drawing a blank. I mean, I do know why. I think it was The Game Changer. Yeah, it was The Game Changer. Not as good as Heated Rivalry.
Okay.
You can definitely tell that like she was definitely very new to writing when she wrote it.
Okay.
It got better as it like the story progressed. I gave it like 3.5 stars. Like it was fine, but again, very fast read. So I read that Sunday. Like I finished and started it.
That's amazing. I love that for you.
We were talking about fantasy. Like, I was like, why did I start?
So, I think it's just, like this time, because you're going
this time of year. But doom and gloom, like, I was just like laying on my couch. I wanted to finish Assassin's Blade, but I just like could not, like, I just like couldn't get into it. Katie hasn't read Assassin's Blade yet. This is my first time reading the Assassin's Blade because
I was supposed to do a Game of Thrones, Throne of Glass reread with her, but obviously this is my spooky season, so I will do a reread, even if it's like past CC3's release. Like because I have so many people reading it for the first time, T's doing a reread, I will do it.
Yeah,
I am thinking I'm going to finish book 1 and just skip book 2 because it honestly hurts to read.
I would just read the last like 25% of book 2.
Exactly, read the novella. The Assassin's Blade, and then go right into everything else and kind of like just spaced out. I do just want to do a reread just to do a reread because it's such a good series. I know
people like, okay, so I haven't finished it yet. I know that I know what happens in the Assassin's Blade.
Obviously, yeah.
Okay.
You finished the series.
Right. Just because I haven't read it doesn't mean I don't know what happens. I know what happens. Like, I know whatever. I won't say spoilers because if you haven't read it, but it should be read after Crown of Midnight. That's what everybody says. It should be Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, The Assassin's Blade, and then Air of Fire, blah, 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 whatever. I honestly disagree now that I'm reading it.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 novellas make up The Assassin's Blade.
Okay.
So the story doesn't, I don't want to say, I don't know. I just feel like when you finish one, like it does flow into the next, like it makes sense chronologically the way that the novellas are spaced out. But like a part of me is like, read the first 2, read Throne of Glass. Then like really, that's
interesting.
I don't know. Like I just feel like for me, like, and again, like I think because it's a prequel, so all the novellas in Assassin's Blade happen before the events of Throne of Glass. So I'm almost like finding it like boring sometimes because I'm like, I already know what happens.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to, but
like
again,
maybe if you were
the thing is too is that I'm like anticipating Air of Fire and I know what's going to happen in Air of Fire. So I just want to start it. So I feel like maybe that's where I'm at, where I'm just like, I don't really care that much about these characters.
Because they're not really
like one of the novellas, she meets Irene.
Okay.
Which you meet in Tower of Dawn. But like it doesn't really, I mean, it's,
oh, that's cool. That's probably a cool one.
And like Rolf, which you meet in Empire of Storms. I think you meet Ansel in Empire of Storms too. So like all the characters, you re-meet them somewhere along the story.
Okay.
But I almost feel like depending on when you meet them, you can just kind of like read.
That makes sense. Interesting take.
So I'm almost like, okay, so the last 2 are more focused on Rifthold and Sam. So I'm like, do you read the last 2 novellas, then go into Throne of Glass, and then go? I don't know, but like, I just know for me, I think maybe for my first time reading it, it wouldn't bother me as much, but I'm almost just like,
get me through this because I want to move on.
Right. Like the Silent Assassins, like it's really cool, but I don't care to read like 400 pages of novellas just to get to Air of Fire.
I agree.
And I think that this is an unpopular opinion because everyone's like, oh my God, The Assassin's Blade is amazing. And I'm like, yeah, the stories are great, but 400 plus pages of them all in a row between Crown of Midnight and Air of Fire, I'm like, almost like, I just want to get to Air of Fire.
Yeah, it sounds like you want to stop reading it and just like move on.
But again, I don't know if that's just because it's a reread for me for the series, so I know what's happening in Air of Fire and I want to like meet some of those characters already.
Yeah, I hear that. I gotta do it. One of these days.
But yeah, we definitely recommend.
And we're going to talk about our October calendar because we finally have it figured out.
You guys have been hearing us talk about how we need to come up with our October calendar.
We were very torn because there's so much coming out. Obviously, like Teresa's in her throes of hockey season. I'm in my throes. This is big for the BFF book club if you haven't picked up. Teresa in her hockey, me and my spooky. So like big moments, but also just completely non-related to either genre. Books coming out that are releasing in October that like we've been dying to get to. So we were like, do we do like a book a week? But then like do we do half book, half spilling tea? Which kind of is what we do mostly, but we always promote them as like A Curse of Dark and Lonely. But we would kind of promote it as like spilling the tea and book.
Right.
But we have concluded right before this little recording that on October 4th it will be a spilling the tea, strictly spilling the tea episode.
Spilling the tea next week. So you don't have to prepare anything before that.
I mean, we will talk about things that we're obviously reading, what we recommend, things like that.
Typical spilling the tea episode. Yes. If there's spoilers, we'll tell you to skip.
Exactly. On October 11th, we are going to discuss Hopeless by Elsie Silver, the Chestnut Spring series.
And if you haven't read any of those yet,
you need to. You just need to stop. Permission to stop listening to this recording, even though there's not very much left, and go read those series immediately. Fall in love with Daddy Cade, will you? I'll fight you for him, though. You can have Theo.
I'm saying Theo's my man.
I don't need him. And then on the 18th, we are going to do Bad Luck Charm by Julie Johnson.
Yes, which Katie has already read and has. This is my like I've been wanting to read it since Katie read it because she's like obsessed.
Like I don't get like we all talk about like our recs in our group chat, but like there's few that we each get like hyped about.
Yes,
this was one of my hypes, and again like it is longer. It's 500 pages. It is available on audio if I'm not mistaken. For me, it just connected. It clicked. I literally neglected every single fucking human being in my life to finish reading this. It was that good. So it's Bad Luck Charm by Julie Johnson. The second book, it's an interconnected series. It's coming out in November, and I'm very excited for it. And then the 25th of October, we are going to discuss Caught Up by Liz Tomford.
Yes.
Which we're both very excited about.
Very excited. Because if you know me, you know I love fucking Liz Tomford.
She, amazing writing.
So good.
I haven't dabbled with a lot of your hockey romance recs. I've dabbled with a few. But this by far has been my favorite sports recs that you've given me.
I think that one of my favorite, taking the hockey out of it too, Mile High last year was just I read it.
So fucking good.
And I read it because there was hockey. But then if you took the hockey out of it, you could have made that man a constructor. You could have made him his job anything.
I would have read it.
I love that fucking book and that story so much.
Same.
And then then The Right Move came out.
Oh my god, even better.
Just so fucking good.
Ryan Shea has my whole heart.
I'm an Evan Sanders gal till the day that I die. But I don't know, because Kai Miller, or her name Miller. Her name's Miller. What the fuck's Kai's name? I know it, but I'm keeping it a secret. Anyway, I don't know. This one might do it.
Might Trump. I'm very excited.
Yeah, same.
So as always, we'll see.
So we said Caught Up. What was the last one?
Caught Up.
Oh, Bad Luck Charm. Okay,
yeah.
On the
so then we're done.
Yep.
And we're not going to talk about November yet. That's too far in advance. We couldn't figure out October for 7 seconds.
I'll just say that the book that we want us to kick off November with, we've already talked about in this podcast.
Correct.
So that's an Easter egg. And I feel like you could probably
easily pick up on that Easter egg.
Easily pick up on who that was. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys today.
Yes.
And Katie, can you growl us out like the beast would?